The scariest risk, I think, that we are running is if we are wrong about how much time we have to deal with CO2. Or if we had a precipitant event that kind of dire warners of climate, always say, well, we'll have the tipping point. Well, we could have the tipping point. And if we had something like a big hunk of the Greenland ice shelf fall off, for example, or accelerated release of methane from the tundra in the Arctic, because of course that's straight CO2 emissions, and methane, remember, is much more dangerous than CO2 in terms of its contribution to climate change. So if we're wrong and the Earth really were to accelerate faster than the IPCC says, what if we can't find, not only that we can't live at 450 parts per million BTUs, what if we find we can't live at 350 or 300? That would be my scariest scenario, because then I think, on the other hand, that might be what we need to galvanize the world that business as usual cannot continue, and maybe everybody would come together. My other great fear would be that is far less catastrophic in the long run for the future of the globe, but my other concern would be if we had a catastrophic war in the Middle East and there was a major disruption to petroleum supplies, because that would send the price of oil up. Probably if it were to happen, while we're still in a global recession, probably send us into depression. We wouldn't then have the resources we need to make the conversion to the renewable energy future, and that would also have very severe implications. The only way I rank that a high risk is if we were to have an Israeli attack on Iran or an Iranian attack on Israel. Seems less likely. But I think in that case, everybody would immediately become polarized. The United States would be in a very difficult position with our historic Israeli ally on the one hand, but probably the entire Arab world united against us, if not formally, at least de facto, for their own political survival. And that would be a very, very serious situation, and one that I am increasingly worried about might occur, because I think, largely because of the intransigence of the Iranians on their nuclear program, I do not believe they're negotiating in good faith. And I do believe, whether you agree with it or not, I do believe that Israel sees nuclear-armed Iran as an existential threat. And given the current complexion of the Israeli government on the more hardline right-wing side of the spectrum, I would not rule it out.